After a busy week last week, I suffered with an emotional hangover. But what is an emotional hangover, and have you ever suffered from one? Welcome to my channel. This channel is all about the ways that I feel on the inside, my mental health and well-being, how I struggle with all that, and how I still live my best life in spite of that. So if that feels like something of interest to you, then remember to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you know each and every time I post a video. So emotional hangovers, you may or may not have heard of the term. It's something I came across a little while ago actually, along my healing journey, and it's something that I've come to recognize now, and it's important that I know what it is because emotional hangovers are something that I experience quite often in my life today. So last week was COA week. It was a week of us raising awareness for children of alcoholics globally. It's expanding each and every year and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Certainly the energy of it feels like we're making real meaningful change. And look, 3 years ago, we know that in England and Wales, nowhere had a strategy for helping people affected by parents drinking. And 3 years on today, 60% of England and Wales now have a strategy. So this is real and meaningful change. On a personal level, last week I did lots of stuff. It started on Sunday and went right through until Friday morning. And when I finished, I had this kind of come down. I knew it was coming because now I'm much more aware of it, and I get an emotional hangover actually to some varying degree after each and every talk that I give. So what is it? Well, anytime I experience any kind of overwhelm or feeling of slight overwhelm when it comes to the ways that I feel, it's always followed at some point by a feeling of wanting to retreat, a feeling like I don't have the emotional energy to be around people or to interact with anybody else. I'm certainly away from my family, or sometimes even within my family, and that is what I call an emotional hangover. Now, it can be from having like these triggering feelings like that are really difficult to deal with, you know, hardship and traumatic feelings that have been unearthed in me. That's obvious then that I'm going to feel some kind of emotional hangover. But I guess when I first started feeling them, what was harder to recognize or to accept was that after a period of feeling some really good emotions, so this last week was a good example. Thursday we all got together at the House of Commons. It was a coming together of good people, and you know, to discuss good things and really positive experience. And yet the next day I felt this overwhelming sense of wanting to retreat, and that I, you know, like I had a really difficult experience. It wasn't a difficult experience, but the feeling, the aftermath feeling felt like I had. And so I used to feel confused by this, and like there was something wrong with me, and also that I wasn't a very good person. Why can't I be happy with what's happened? Why can't I be happy with the experience I've had? And instead I feel like I want to retreat. And sometimes I can almost feel like I regret doing what I did. And look, it's very similar to a drinking hangover experience, which a lot of people can relate to, where you know, you question the next morning, was it really worth it? And you retreat, and you need to stay like in for the day or the morning to recuperate. And it's very much like that with an emotional hangover. You know, the important thing from this is to recognize that that's okay. We know with physical health, if we overexert, if we overwhelm our bodies, we naturally know that the next day we need rest. Any athlete will tell you that resting period after physical exertion is important. And look, we know if you train regularly that you should have a rest day to make sure that your body can recuperate. And for me, it's exactly the same with the ways that we feel. So when I talk about emotions and feelings, they're all the same thing. And so it's only natural that after a period of exertion, whether it's good emotions, bad emotions, a mixture of the two, either or, you know, it doesn't really matter. There will be a period where we need to recuperate, and that's fine. And when we are recuperating, much like when we're recuperating physically, we might be a bit sore and we might feel a little bit tender. We can feel like that emotionally as well, and that, you know, that is okay and that's fine. And particularly for people that may have had a rough time of it in their lives or have experienced trauma of some kind. Much like with the physical sense, if you've experienced trauma physically, then you've been injured in the past, and you might need a little bit longer, or it might hurt and ache a little bit more. Again, it's exactly the same way emotionally. If you've had an experience of difficult time, then your emotional hangover might be a little bit worse. So if that's something that you resonate with and something that speaks to you, then understand that it's normal. Doesn't mean you're broken, and it's okay. So there you have it. That's me just sharing some thoughts on my emotional hangovers, what they mean, and now you can figure out whether you've experienced them yourself and recognize that there's nothing wrong with experiencing them, and allow yourself to go through them. So it's important to give ourselves that space to recuperate emotionally in the same way that it would be physically. Also remember that if you like this video, then give us a like, and also remember to subscribe. And like I've said, turn on the notifications, because you want to know each and every time I post a video, right?